Susie, you've been pretty busy lately, haven't you? I mean, with
I'm always
publishing.
busy.
Yeah. Tell me about some of your publishing ventures. And I know you have, don't you have a new book you want to talk about too?
There's a book coming out later on this season from Breaking Rules, and it's a book of poems. It's a full length work.
Okay.
Um, I was calling it the Ghost Manuscript, but now its official title will be Chicago Poems because all the poems are set in that city.
Okay. Um, Maybe you want to read from that before we're done here?
I have a poem that I was hoping to present, which is a long poem, and since it's difficult to place long poems, I thought perhaps you'd let me read it. And it already has an interesting history, so we'll see what happens after this.
Okay. Would you like to tell everybody about your handmade books that you do?
Yes, I publish an artist's made poetry chapbook series called Red Mare, which you know because you were author number 12.
Yay.
And I'm waiting on I'm waiting on an author now for number 20. I hope she doesn't ghost me. And it's an eco-feminist missioned poetry serial chapbook publication that features uh, numbered block print covers and then hand sewn bindings so that each one is individual. It's not that identical machine thing. You know, there's handcraft involved. So I'm up to number 20 now. We'll see if this next author comes through for me. I hope she does.
Okay. So, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I can introduce the poem and read it.
Okay, well, let's just do that. That'll be good. Just go ahead.
Okay, so this poem was written specifically for the 100,000 Poets for Change 10-year global reading anniversary. And the poem debuted on that Zoom performance because we don't do galleries anymore. And it hasn't found a publisher yet. I sent it to one person who didn't enjoy it. And then I sent it to someone else, first look. And then I sent it to someone else who's like, oh, we're not going to be publishing for months. A lot of the small presses are stopping their endeavors, unfortunately. And so I'm reading you this poem as a way of hoping that people hear it. I did some science research and then incorporated the science research into the poem. So it's has that. Um, and it's called Heat Index. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Fasten your seatbelts. Heat Index. It is crepe myrtle season. The last rain rises with the light in veils of gold, slanting the night's deep dark to a retreat in the trees. And we hear singing. The cranes embroider the air with their echo. The summer ducks display the new children in soprano, and there's always a crow. Our morning music shifts, a shady frog, a distant woodpecker, and the heat shifts to an unusual froth. It too might be heard in the song of the light, the great tides of heat. We are burning. We are burning with fever. Everywhere is the sickness. The insects are eager for our corpses. 2. The woodpecker tells us of dying trees cued by the cicada's chorus. We don't need World Health to tell us of their revised scale when the cypress were the first to stand and burn. It was a sorrow to have swaddled their infant bodies in fancy dirt, how they grew into stalwart cones rising. Then the season, the russet took them, the Yule of their cremation. To rest among the trees is to breathe. 3. The light sings. It pulses in many notes, some of which are colors. A purple that burns, that's ultra to us, so we science. We measure and assign integers and hide, not to the trees, but to our intrinsic eternal artifice. But in the embrace of the planet is breath, the breathing foliage, a white crepe myrtle perhaps, that is a touch point for a freshly fledged cardinal, his gray belly, his blooming red touches, as he bends to wipe his beak against the gray branch of beautyberry upon which he made his breakfast. His command of the air is precise. He breathes his wings. We will breathe the noon light, and a trio of crows will discuss corn. Somewhere are machines whose metallic heat shivers as it rises, adding currents for the butterflies up, up to the O. 4. And as we face our cardinal directions, our breath is our motion. A daylight raccoon has usurped the crows. Her overt desperation is unmindful of being seen. She's so thin of hip, and thus, in this oracular light, the special song of burning, the machines now sing their addictive death march, and the light bends, is bending more and more. And if each day they breathe, and their breath is our breath, and their breath is the soft light, not the burning one. Their breath is a balance of the waters. Their breath is our motion, and their burning bends the light to giggling, to chop, to shorter waves. We clocked it. Our last 10 seasons. The days of burning are doubling every other year. Extreme WHO 11, right? Yet the cicadas answer the machines. Yet one hopeful jay, always off in the swamp. The daylight raccoon finds the feeder and has a good snack. Where the chamomile has gone leggy and native, a small black moth hides in the heather. There's hope in the hawk, who gives us a trio of her blues bending notes. Let her not be last. Oh, let's not last, because we vow more flowers to bloom against the pacing hours after midnight, when the wet face is slow to dry and the fruit trees glow with burning, the bolt upright from sleep, burning but inside, under the bones that gasp to breathe.
All right, that's a long poem. Well, thank you very much, Susie. Thank you for that.
Thank you for having me. I very much appreciate it.
All righty. Okay, goodbye.
Bye-bye.